get in your fucking business.
Oh.
So this is our kind of behind the scenes of digital hospitality, and I want to talk to the real gentleman behind the spokes.
Oh,
How did this all happen?
What part?
All of it.
Where do you start?
Wow.
Where do you want to start?
Well, who first?
Give me the couple minute breakdown of how we got from Mighty 1090 to here we are digitally.
It went this fast, dude. 1090 shut down, and most people said, all right, I'm out of a job. And Scott Kaplan said, I'm not out of a job. We're doing a show tomorrow. And we end up at Callaway, and then from Callaway, ideas start flowing.
So you're not transmitting on the radio.
Right.
There's no longer a Mighty 1090 signal.
Right.
You are streaming the show on YouTube, TuneIn, Facebook, Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere else?
That's all I can think of. And then everything.
TuneIn, and then TuneIn got dropped out, but yeah.
Right. And then everything now is on, Google. After
Everywhere.
the show, it's Spotify, Google, Apple.
But how long have you been working for Mighty 1090?
How long was I working
Yeah.
with? 8 years?
8 years. As
7 or 8 years?
audio focused.
Audio focused, yeah.
So like coming here and doing this was a whole new learning video.
Oh yeah, I've been on Google and YouTube every day.
Yeah.
Trying to learn.
But you can learn everything.
Yeah, you don't need to go to school anymore.
Isn't it fucking nuts?
It's like it's kind of crazy, really. You don't have to go to school ever.
No. I mean, I talk about my grandfather was born in a village in Bulgaria. And like he read every single book in the library that he had to go to another village to get more books. If there's a kid in Bulgaria in that same village, if they have the internet, like they can get a master's degree from Harvard.
Yeah.
Like anything at your fingertips.
Yeah.
Audio, video, you name it.
Yep. Even now Google has their own, it's called Google Academy. You can just go in there and get certified, like YouTube certified or whatever you want to do. So it's crazy.
So what do you think the state of the radio business is?
I think it's not a secret. I mean, the radio business is...
We'll call it like it is, because there's a lot of people that are walking around pretending like it's not happening.
It's a difference. Because there are a lot of people who say it's dead or it's in the grave. I don't agree to that. I think what happened to radio is lazy people took over.
Yeah.
At one point, the train was moving at bullet speed, and everyone, as people tend to do, thought it would always continue that way. When another medium came along, when the internet came along, it kind of cut the legs underneath cable television as well. They were slow to realize that if we don't include this, then the property that we have will be useless.
Yeah.
And so those type of program directors, it's useless now. Their radio program, their airwaves are useless unless you have a digital platform to go along with it. I think that is the actual problem. I think the people who were making the decisions were too shy to pull the trigger on what was around the corner because they were afraid of it. I know in our building, they were afraid of pulling the trigger on what could be next.
Sure.
Because a lot of people were saying what we are doing here today, digitally broadcasting the signal out, the show out, could have been done when we were at 1090, and therefore at this point now we'd have maybe 30, 40, 50, 100,000 followers.
Sure.
Who knows the answer to that question? But the people who were in charge were too afraid to try something that they had no idea whether it would work or not, whether or not it would fail, because they were traditional radio people.
Correct.
And all the traditional radio people, those people are done.
Yes.
They're dead. They're floating in the water. It's World War II for them. It's donezo. It's out. They're out of the door.
Audio is not only alive, it is growing more than it has ever grown.
Yes.
When Amazons are going to be in our houses, I mean, when my son's talking to Alexa, telling Alexa to play Baby Shark. Like my son's already searching on the, but like that audio, that compelling storytelling and the personality, there's going to be more opportunity than ever. But the problem is the fear. It's the fear of the unknown with this.
I just think
right?
it's. I don't know if I have a different outlook on it. I just think it comes down to this. It's the people making the decisions.
Yes.
Are not caught up with the times yet.
Yes.
No, they're not. They're not on Twitter.
So
they're not,
yeah.
like you're lucky if they're even on Facebook.
It's not even that. What's the average age of a program director? What's the average age of a vice president?
Sure.
Because these are old traditional jobs. If you even put a vice president, or if you even put an assistant PD in that position at the age of 25, 26, 30, fucking 35, 40, somebody who is at least, they don't really understand it, but they got a kid who plays around on the internet, and so they can see something coming and tell their boss. But the boss has to listen. And all these companies, some of these people are so high up They have no intention or no desire to break something new. They would rather preserve something old. And I think that's the real issue, that more people are trying to preserve something old rather than to create something new.
Sure.
And that's the problem with the radio industry. The people who are holding the reins are people who wanted to go back to the Madman era of radio, where radio was
the Madman era of newspapers. It's the Madman era of TV. Like, if you're not, I don't care what your media company is, if you're not producing it digitally, what the fuck are you doing?
You're useless. You have to find a way to monetize that the same way you.
I just think that radio too, though. Like, to be fair to radio, it's never going anywhere. It's too convenient for it to go anywhere. It just needs to be a complementary piece to things.
And it's outpriced.
Yeah, like television is never going anywhere because you can just turn your TV on and it's on.
Correct.
It's way easy. So I don't think, at least for the future, I don't think it's like, within 10 years, it's still going to be here.
And there's always going to be hardcover books.
Yeah.
People are going to buy, like, people want to have it. Yeah, I want the actual book. Just as much as the Kindle's going to be there. But it's complementary.
Yeah.
You have to have them both.
Yeah, you have to have them both.
Because who cares? Like, what if my wife she's too busy to read a book, but she wants to hear
an
something
audio
about
book.
Parenting, and she's driving, she can listen to it, right?
Yeah. I think there's so many options of people. I think, me personally, this is my personal opinion, I felt this way for a long time. We live in the greatest time to ever be alive.
Yes.
Regardless of whether it is travel, food, experiences, knowledge, sharing information. It's the greatest time to be alive ever, because we are on the forefront every day of, we have a chance to make something new. You always have something in your hand. The one thing that I wanted to make sure that I said before I almost forgot, that about radio, the internet eliminated the needing a gate to get in.
Yes.
The gate, there is no gate now. It's a vast, wide open array of whatever you can make. Like, what the fuck is TikTok? Like, I don't know if you have.
Speaking of that, you need to get a TikTok.
I
agree with Kaplan. I agree with Cap. You need a TikTok.
Like, what the fuck is that though? Like, it came out of nowhere.
For sure.
Now it's got more active subscribers than I think it was Instagram and Twitter.
Unbelievable.
It's insane. So, whoever you are, wherever you are, if you believe in whatever it is that you're doing, now is the time to pull the trigger and
it's not
try.
only believe it, just look at your own personal behavior.
Yeah.
That's the craziest thing. Is like, people are driving around, like, look at the behavior of what your wife is doing, what your spouse is, what your girlfriend's doing, what your kids are doing, especially your kids. I mean, because that's really what's happening.
Right. That's where the tide is turning to. So ask 5 people around you, what do they do? How do they receive their information? Now, however those 5 people tell you within your circle, you got to believe 5 people within their circle, the whole 6 degrees of separation rule. They're all doing the same thing. And if it's on their phone, if it's on YouTube, whatever that platform is, and you want to try to share something or create something, that is the avenue that you should probably do it in.
One of the funniest things is, as a business, when I would buy radio time, and then they would say, okay, say your website, they would have the on-air personality go www.callicomfortbbq.com. When was the last time you've ever directly put in a website into a search engine?
I don't think
Ever.
I can't even remember.
You don't.
No, you don't have
You put the keywords in.
Yeah.
And that comes up.
Yeah.
Like, why do that work?
Right.
If I spell it wrong, whatever, Google will know what I want.
It's going to correct me.
That's fucking nuts.
Speaking of sales side, that's kind of an interesting thing too now. It's like, you have hard numbers, you're not relying on a meter.
Correct.
There's 1.5 million people in San Diego.
Right.
And how many people have a meter? Like 1,000?
I think it was 10,000.
10,000. But I'm saying in
But one person,
male between 25 and 54 for sports. It's like,
right.
That's what I know. That's our stuff. So what was it, like 50 people?
Mm-hmm.
And so the entire...
And one of them died. And then, okay, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'll forget the stuff I don't tell it. So when we were at 1090, there was a person who was a year away from aging out of carrying a meter. He was 55 going on to his 56th birthday. He apparently listened to 1090. He aged out, and the ratings took a hit. Because one guy
That's ridiculous.
aged out of the system somewhere in Chula Vista. They didn't know who he was. They didn't know his name because all those things are against the rules. But they knew through research that there was a guy in Chula Vista that was 55 years old that religiously listened to 1090.
But I mean, how can we not all look at that and say, every advertising model is built off of this?
Every
That's fucking
single
crazy.
Every single
That's crazy.
one.
That's crazy.
It's
As a
absurd.
business, how can I spend money to say, oh, there's 100,000 people listening? Bullshit.
Yep.
Bullshit. There's
Well, now it's
4 people listening.
There's a reason why people like David Dobrik are millionaires now.
Right.
It's because it's a number on the page, and you can see the number on
Correct.
the page. So if you're, I think like SeatGeek sponsors him or something. If you're SeatGeek, then you're like, okay, I got 15 million people that saw him say SeatGeek, and that is a hard number.
Sure.
You cannot. That's interesting. It's also more challenging for us because those are real numbers and people
Right.
can see those
Correct.
numbers. Not every number that we have.
But I mean, part of the best part is that you guys have lived the media radio side, and all the people that are trying to create content now, people on YouTube, people that are podcasters, they don't get the business piece of it.
Right.
You guys get the business piece because you watched it fail.
Right.
You watched people that were supposed to keep Mighty 1090 open, but you watched them fail. Now you can go to new sponsors like Corky's and whoever else you have, and you can say, not only are we going to talk about you, but we're going to help you with your digital content.
Yep.
Because everyone needs digital content.
I think-
And having that conversation with the sponsor makes them a partner, not just an advertiser.
I
right?
think the best thing is you can no longer hide.
That's
Like you said, the hard numbers are the hard numbers.
Correct.
And if you can't get those numbers, you can't hide behind 5 guys who listen to you.
Shouldn't
so now
you
that
be
5
proud?
guys is
If you're a
500
radio
guys.
executive, shouldn't you have a Twitter account and be proud of the properties that you own?
You
One would
should.
think.
You would think because of the medium we operate in. You would think, but it's clearly not the case. And so
Yeah.
now I think talent should have driven everything to begin with. It did not. Relationships did.
Yeah.
Now we live in an age where the talent and the content drives everything. Content is king at this point.
Yep.
And since content is now driving the vehicle, how do you push that content out? How do you decorate that content? How do you dress it up and make it worthy to all your listeners or sponsors or subscribers or however you package that thing up? That is my golden goose in this entire thing. Is that only
Back to personalities. What's the smartest thing ESPN's done in the last year?
it's been personality driven.
But what's the smartest thing they did for ESPN Plus that makes it even relevant to anything?
Oh, I don't know.
Chris Berman and Tom Jackson.
True.
That's literally the
I
only
actually
reason-
don't agree with you at all.
No?
I think that was the dumbest thing they've ever done.
Did you
because
listen to it? I haven't
no,
listened to it.
No, because
But it
because
got me thinking.
I don't listen to it because I never watched the show.
That's different. I grew up on the show.
But you are not probably their target. Like
They want me
right? But how many
and
people
you
like
and Cap
that watch them?
to go back to the nostalgia.
I never got that one. Like if the people that watched Chris Berman and Tom Jackson are probably not on ESPN Plus, or they're probably not going to take the time
Correct.
to get ESPN Plus. So
That's
like,
correct. He's
right.
so like that's
Yeah, you're correct.
Honestly, like that's
And that's
but that's them forcing people to go and get ESPN Plus.
Correct.
But it's a reach. But yeah, I mean, you just like the biggest thing now, man, is we know our demographic to the T.
Yes.
We know the cities
It's
people
unbelievable.
are
I mean, the
watching.
podcast analytics,
Yeah.
they break it down to how long you listen to the podcast, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Rogan books
Especially, like, what
his
city.
his comedy shows, not based off, I think it's cool to play in Denver, but I'm going to go to Fort Collins because I have this many more people
In Fort
downloading
Collins.
in Fort Collins than I am here. Like,
And he
that's
knows-
fucking insane.
And 2, the trick is, are you smart enough to read those numbers and benefit off those numbers?
That's correct.
Joe Rogan has become the blueprint almost of if you are some type of performer and you do a podcast or you do some type of digital platform. Because T.I. is attempting to do the same thing Joe Rogan is doing.
Yep.
He's trying to find a way where most of his listeners are, where his listeners are hotspotting, and he's trying to do shows there. He's turning up in clubs there. David Banner, same way. Killer Mike, the same way. Joe Budden, the same way. They're all following the Joe Rogan map of
Sure.
how to financially benefit from the success of your podcast. And all those guys couldn't have done that in the radio era.
Right.
Because they would have to go to a person, sit in an office, and say, hey, I'm so-and-so.
I need to pay you so you can pay a portion of this $75,000 lead. Like, that's nuts.
Yeah.
Now you don't have to do that.
No, the air is out of the balloon.
Yep.
And I'm thankful for that in a sense. I'm also thankful for the foresight of Scott Kaplan. Like I've told him this before, and I don't know if he thought it was bullshit or if he took it
He's
seriously.
got big balls.
But
He's got big nuts.
just a person to look at the industry that he was in, and then to have the foresight to go, no. I think I can keep this going in some way, shape, or form on my terms.
Yep.
And lo and behold, here we are.
Yep.
it takes vision. You have to have the right people around you.
It
There's
takes
two of us.
ignoring the naysayers.
Allison.
All the people saying, "Oh, why aren't you on radio anymore?" Like,
Look,
we're putting out content. We're putting out more content now than we ever did, and we're putting out the content that we want to put out.
Is this the
even
man?
better.
Are you the one recording this? Look at me. 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 If you want to do something, fuck anybody who tells you don't do it. I don't know if this is like correct. I don't know if you're gonna put a mature label on this.
No.
Look, man, fuck anybody who will tell you cannot do something, because the people who will tell you cannot do something, they're not doing anything. They're spending their time judging you, telling you what you cannot do. Do not let that stop you from doing whatever it is your heart is telling you to do. If you want to fucking make candles, okay? Whatever it is, do you. The success will follow. I guarantee you will never regret the mistake if it's made, because it will lead to success. So fuck anybody telling you not to do something. That's it. That's all I got. That bothers me so much, man.
No, it's good.
That bothers me so much, man.
People need to
There's so many people trying to
overthink it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like me being a fringe millennial is what I call myself. Having 2000, I graduated high school. Literally, Y2K was when the fucking world was supposed to end.
Right.
So I'm a fringe, elder millennial, whatever you want to call it. But most of my friends don't publish any content on the internet. Like, maybe they have a Facebook page.
Maybe.
But like their wives, they'll post stuff about their kids on Instagram and Facebook, but they have successful careers. I'm like, why the fuck aren't you putting out content? You sell life insurance. Like, why aren't
Can't
you
hurt.
putting out content? Like, you're an attorney. Like, oh, well, there's rules, or oh, the industry. I'm like, it's not the fucking industry. Like, eventually, people aren't going to go to the law firm because it has, these are the named partners. I'm going to go to the fucking lawyer that understands how to get information out of
Yes.
this. Because guess what's going to come up in the deposition,
Here's my best analogy, dude. There's no CD players in cars anymore.
right?
That's all you gotta say.
Yeah.
If you're gonna catch up with the times, you're gonna get left behind. That's it.
I'm with that. Anything else, gentlemen? Any parting words of wisdom?
I gotta get our internet fixed.
I
The
gave
internet's important.
I gave you
Important.
the only piece that I ever want to be passed on if I die, and no one ever
You're not dying.
hears anything else from me. Fuck what somebody else is telling you what you shouldn't do. Do what you want to do.
Do it.
You guys are the fucking best.
My man.
My name is Shawn Walchef. Thanks for watching Digital Hospitality. Be sure to subscribe. No, for real. Seriously, subscribe. And also check out our next video, like this one. This one right here. This. My producer told me here. Yeah, over here. This is where you're supposed to subscribe. This one.